And in news breaking this hour, a Pakistan government will not allow a United Nations Security Council Sanctions Monitoring Committee to meet Mumbai attack mastermind Hafiz Saeed. Reports in the Pakistani media have quoted diplomatic sources as saying that the UNSC team will not be given access to Hafiz Saeed and that if the team members try to reach him, Pakistan will block that access. The sources said Pakistan had been implementing all UN sanctions and is ready to answer any questions that the UN team will have to ask. The two-day visit of the UNSC team begins on the 26th of January. All right, we'll stay on this news for the moment. In news coming in right now, Pakistan says it will not allow a United Nations Security Council Sanctions Monitoring Committee to meet the Mumbai attack mastermind Hafiz Saeed. Reports in the Pakistani media have quoted diplomatic sources as saying that the UNSC team will not be given access to Hafiz Saeed and that if the team members try to reach him, Pakistan will block that access. The sources said Pakistan had been implementing all UN sanctions and is ready to answer any questions that the UN team asks. The two-day visit of the UNSC team begins on the 25th of January. All right, just to bring our viewers up to speed with the news breaking this hour, Pakistan says it will not allow a United Nations Security Council's Sanctions Monitoring Committee to meet the Mumbai attack mastermind Hafiz Saeed. Reports in the Pakistani media have quoted diplomatic sources as saying that the UNSC team will not be given access to Hafiz Saeed and that if the team members try to reach him, Pakistan will block that access. The sources also said Pakistan had been implementing all UN sanctions and is ready to answer any questions that the UN team asks. The two-day visit of the UNSC team begins on the 25th of this month. We'll try to get the latest from our full complement of reporters in India and Pakistan on this news breaking this hour that Pakistan will not allow access to Hafiz Saeed for the UNSC Monitoring Committee that will visit Pakistan on the 25th of this month. And joining me now is WION Senior Editor Surya Gangadharan. Surya, Pakistan says it will not allow access to Hafiz Saeed for the UNSC team that will begin their visit on the 25th of this month. What do you make of this intransigence on the part of Pakistan?
Well, I'm not sure it comes as a surprise or a shock. Pakistan has routinely flouted UN sanctions on terror groups. It has broken agreements with India. It has not stuck by even the spirit of agreements that are struck with the US. So in that sense, not giving access to Hafiz Saeed doesn't really come as a surprise, frankly.
So, and going forward, looking at the UNSC committee's visit itself, Surya, what do we expect from them after the visit gets over in terms of designated him further, maybe additional sanctions going forward?
I think a lot of this depends on how the US-Pakistani exchange on the bilateral issues between them are actually sorted out. Now, the US has a set of demands that they've placed before the Pakistanis. Are the Pakistanis going to respond positively? How far are they going to accommodate the Americans? I think all this is linked to this UN Security Council's visit. So in the event that Pakistan refuses to bend or allow to the US demands, then I think perhaps the Security Council's visit may not go off that well.
Right, Surya, do stay on. I'm now joined by senior Pakistani journalist Arsalan Bhatti. Good afternoon, Mr. Bhatti. Why is Pakistan so reluctant to allow Hafiz Saeed access or the UNSC committee access to meeting Hafiz Saeed? Why is Pakistan hell-bent upon protecting him?
Till time there is no official statement from any of the Pakistani institutions, rather the Foreign Office, that it will not allow any UNSC delegation to contact Mr. Hafiz Muhammad Saeed. And neither the Pakistan government was very much in the loop of UNSC delegation. But Pakistan never ever reluctant. But how could a Pakistan allow any person or any of the delegation from outer world or outside the Pakistan to investigate a Pakistani who was already investigated by the court of law not once, not twice, but for the long 8 months. How it is possible? This is not possible. Already the Pakistan government had made a detailed report that Mr. Hafiz Saeed was not released by the government of Punjab, not released by the government of Pakistan, but it was released by the court of law. And in court, after the court's decision, the Pakistan can't take up the court, rather it will file appeal, but in the decision making, the Pakistan government can't affect 0.1% on the decision of any judge or the court, whether it is against Hafiz Saeed or whether it is against me, because it was purely a court decision under the law of the land that Mr. Hafiz Saeed was not involved, nor any evidence was found for the proof that he was involved in such activities. Already, your next question, I already answered several times, that I again answered the same question, that Hafiz Saeed, all the philanthropy was controlled by the government of Punjab, all his institutions, except only one, that was his mosque. But all the institutions which was under his command, or rather his the defunct party command, all the institutions were already under the command of Punjab government, including the schools which were run by the party of the Hafiz Saeed. Now it was the administrator from the administrator appointed by the government of Punjab, who is sitting in Muridke, and they were run by the administrator. And
Mr. Bhatti, your point is well taken, but I have a question to ask you. Here is Hafiz Saeed, whose lawyers have approached the UNSC committee saying that his name be removed from the list. So on the one hand, he appeals the committee. On the other hand, you do not allow him to visit and access the committee. Why this duplicity?
There is no duplicity in if any person in the whole world, under any country's law, if he was found, if there is any allegation against the person, even if it is me or if it is you, you have to defend through your lawyer, your counsel. And when the counsel already given a chit, rather a clean chit from the court, by any court of the land, then he is very much on right to appeal against that particular body, that already his client was cleared by the court of law. Therefore, there is no harm, or there is no chance of putting him on any list, which on watch list or any criminal list.
All right.
If the counsel for Mr. Hafiz Saeed was trying to send an appeal or trying to submit an appeal, this is according to the international law of justice.
All right, Arsalan Bhatti, Surya Gangadharan, thank you for your inputs on this developing story. We'll get back to our viewers with more inputs as we go forward.